She woke up at 3 a.m. and her husband wasn't in bed. She found him sitting upright in the dark, completely still, staring at nothing, not on his phone, not watching TV, just gone somewhere inside his own mind. She called his name. It took him several seconds to respond, and when he finally looked at her, his eyes were hollow in a way she had never seen before. This had been happening for weeks, and she was starting to realize that the man she married might be disappearing right in front of her, and she had almost missed it entirely. This is a story about new parenthood, about the silent crisis that nobody talks about, and about a wife who finally stopped long enough to notice that something was terribly, terribly wrong. When a baby comes into a family, all of the attention, all of the concern, all of the medical checkups and wellness conversations tend to orbit around two people, the mother and the infant. That is completely understandable. Pregnancy is physically demanding. Birth is traumatic. Postpartum recovery is real and serious and deserves every bit of attention it receives. But in that same room, often just a few feet away, there is someone else quietly falling apart. And because nobody is looking at him, because he doesn't have a 6-week postpartum appointment, because the cultural expectation is that he should be the strong one right now, he keeps falling apart in silence. A young woman recently shared her story online, reaching out for help because she genuinely did not know what was happening to her husband. He was 26 years old. They had just had their first baby together. And over the course of a single month, she had watched him transform into someone she barely recognized. She wasn't posting to complain. She wasn't frustrated. She was scared. And reading through what she described, it becomes very clear that her fear was completely justified. Before the baby arrived, her husband was enthusiastic. He was excited to become a father. He had always been great with children, warm and engaged with nieces and nephews, the kind of person kids naturally gravitate toward. They had every reason to expect he would take to fatherhood with that same energy. But the moment they came home from the hospital, something shifted, and it kept shifting in the wrong direction every single day. The first thing she noticed was the weight. He had always been lean, but now he was losing weight rapidly. Not in a healthy way, not in a new dad running around on no sleep way, in a concerning, visible something is wrong with his body way. Then came the sleep, or rather the complete absence of it. She would wake up in the night and find him sitting up, perfectly still, eyes open, staring into empty space, not scrolling his phone, not getting water, just sitting there, somewhere far away from the room they were both physically in. The baby might be asleep, the house might be quiet. It didn't matter. He couldn't rest. He couldn't switch off whatever was running on a loop inside his head. Then he started collapsing, 3 times. He physically collapsed, and she didn't know why. No diagnosed medical condition, no clear explanation, just a young, previously healthy man whose body was giving out from underneath him. She took note of everything she was seeing because she is clearly an observant and caring partner, but she also admits that in the fog of new motherhood, the exhaustion of feeding and soothing and barely sleeping herself, she had let some time pass before fully connecting the dots. She felt guilty about that. She shouldn't. She was surviving too. But the guilt tells you something about the kind of person she is and how seriously she was now taking what she was seeing. His emotional availability had essentially vanished. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't absent in the way that means he left or stopped trying. He was physically present but mentally unreachable. He would sit with the baby and just stare at the child rather than talking, cooing, engaging. He could still perform all of the practical tasks: feeding, changing, putting the baby down. The baby was safe and cared for. But the emotional warmth, the delight, the connection she had expected, and that he himself had looked forward to, it simply wasn't there. It was like watching someone go through motions behind glass. She mentioned something else, something that offers a window into who her husband is beneath the surface. As a child and teenager, he had taken on significant caregiving responsibility for his younger siblings because his parents were not present in the way they should have been. He essentially became a parent before he was ready. He did it because he had to. And now here he was, a new father at 26, and perhaps something about this moment, the sleeplessness, the total responsibility for a tiny helpless life, The weight of being needed completely was colliding with something old, something unprocessed, something he had never had the space or safety to fall apart about before. She doesn't know for certain. He won't open up. He won't talk about it. And that silence, that closed door, is part of what makes this so frightening. And then she mentioned the comment that stopped her cold. In an offhand moment, her husband said, and she quoted this directly, "Dead people get lots of sleep." She flagged it. She wrote it down. She shared it with strangers online because she needed someone to tell her whether she was overreacting. She was not overreacting. That sentence is not a dark joke. That sentence is a signal. It is the kind of thing a person says when they are so depleted, so disconnected from hope, that the mind starts going to places it should never go. It doesn't mean he had a plan. It doesn't mean he was about to do something. But it means the thought was close enough to the surface that it came out of his mouth, and that is a crisis. What this wife was describing, taken all together, is a picture of severe paternal postpartum depression, possibly complicated by trauma, possibly by anxiety, possibly by something that needs urgent medical evaluation, given the physical collapses. Paternal postpartum depression is real. It affects somewhere between 8 and 13% of new fathers. And some researchers believe the true number is much higher because men are far less likely to be screened, far less likely to report symptoms, and far less likely to be taken seriously when they do. The symptoms can look different in men than in women. Less crying, more withdrawal, less sadness, more numbness, less asking for help, more disappearing into silence, more irritability, more recklessness, more physical complaints that seem unrelated, and in some cases intrusive thoughts that are terrifying to admit to anyone. He had also not slept properly in a month. Sleep deprivation alone at severe enough levels can cause cognitive dysfunction, emotional dysregulation, hallucinations, collapse, and a state that resembles and can trigger a full psychiatric crisis. Add unprocessed childhood trauma to that. Add the identity earthquake of becoming a parent, especially when your model of parenthood involves abandonment and a child being forced to become the adult. This man was not lazy. He was not weak. He was drowning in something that nobody had thought to ask him about. So what can you do with this, whether you are the worried partner in this situation, or whether you are the new father who recognizes yourself somewhere in this story? First, the physical collapses require immediate medical attention. That is non-negotiable. A person collapsing multiple times is having a medical event, and it needs to be investigated now, not when things settle down now. Second, the comment about dead people sleeping needs to be taken to a professional, a therapist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, whoever can be seen soonest. Not to overreact, but because that comment deserves a proper, compassionate, clinical response, and not just a worried wait and see. Third, if you are the partner watching someone you love shut down, you are not responsible for fixing this alone. Your job is not to become their therapist. Your job is to stay close, stay gentle, keep naming what you see without blame, and get professional support involved as quickly as possible. You can say something like, "I've noticed some things that worry me and I love you too much to ignore them. I'm not angry. I just want us to get some help together." And if you are the one shutting down, if you are the new father reading this at 3 a.m, sitting in the dark because you cannot sleep and you cannot feel anything and you don't know why, please hear this. What you went through as a child, having to be the parent before you were ready, mattered. What you are feeling now, even if you cannot name it, even if it scares you, matters. You are not broken, you are not failing, you are in a crisis that has a name and it has treatment and people recover from it. But you have to let someone in. Your partner is trying. Let them in. If anything in this video sounds familiar, whether it is your own story or someone you love, please don't wait for it to get better on its own. Talk to a doctor. Reach out to a mental health crisis line if the thoughts are getting darker. Send this video to someone who needs to hear it. You being here, watching this, paying attention, that already means something. If this video helped you or made you think of someone who needed to hear it, share it with them. And if you want more honest, compassionate conversations about the health topics that don't always make it into the mainstream, subscribe. New videos every week. You are not alone in this.